All right, ladies, welcome to Empower Leads Team Call for October 25th. I just have a couple announcements I want to go over real fast, and then hopefully by the time we're done, Nicole will have made it on. I just want to double check again, because I just wrote her. I just wanted to make sure she had the call link. Okay, so a couple things that I wanted to shout out, and I'm actually going to announce them in the team page too, but just while we're on here, it's kind of nice to cover it as well. But our next coach sneak peek is going to be on Sunday night, and we're going to be teaming up with Kathy's team again. And this time we decided to do it in a different page and have a different feel and a different name. So if you're in Inner Circle, I'll be posting in that to ask if you would like to speak on it. But that will be Sunday night, this Sunday night coming, the 29th at 8:30, just so you know if you want to start posting or sharing about it. Like I said, I will post that in the team page tonight. So the next thing is Success Club for October. The Success Club prize, it's double time gift. So it's the cinch bag and a towel, I believe. So if you love prizes, that's what's in store for October. But also I just wanted to put it out there for a reminder, if you're pushing for our team leadership retreat, that Success Club is one of the requirements for October, November, and December. Just another heads up, even though I posted it like 30 times. And also November to Remember registration is open. Has anybody registered for that yet? I posted about it a few times, but no. That's okay. I haven't either. Okay, so November to Remember, I would guess that it's kind of gonna be like what we do for like Fall Classic or Team Cup, but this time it's you're partnering up just with the other person to kind of work together and see how many people you can help. And also because the new double time workout with Tony Horton, that's like a partner geared workout. I'm sure you guys have seen videos and posts about it, or you might have tried the sneak peek when they had it this month. But that launches on October 31st. So if you have people in your network that you think that might be their jam to work out with their kids or their spouse or a family member, that launches on the 31st. And November to Remember starts on the 1st. So tonight after the call, I'm going to post another prompt in the team page with the registration link. And if you need a partner, post in the comments of it, and we'll make sure that everybody has a buddy to sign up with. Sound good? And we'll stop slacking. I'm echoing. Let me see. Kelly Riley, troublemaker. Just kidding. It was you. Okay. I think that's pretty much it for announcements. Does anybody have any recognition or anything exciting that they want to shout out? I know that there was a couple people that weren't on last week that may have had something to say. Anybody?
Can I just say that tomorrow, so tomorrow, then I think there's going to be good news for my coach, Miss Katie Mazio, who will be Diamond tomorrow. Last week she was Ruby because we had a little PV mess up by 10 points.
Lesson for you to share, Kelly.
That really sucked. Is Katie even on? I'm like, is Katie's on? We were like, no. She wrote me. She was trying to get on. She wrote me at 3 a.m, and she said, I got up and I looked to see if it was there. I just wanted it to say Diamond, and she goes, and it said Ruby. I was like, oh, no. So I'm like tech supporting at 3 a.m, a chat, like, what the hell went wrong? And they were like, it was the PV of 90 points versus 100. And I was like, duh. So both our faults, but hey, now she gets to be the infamous Ruby, and then she'll be
the very elite Ruby.
Yeah. So very excited for that. And her coach Grace got to Emerald, so which was
super exciting, and we can definitely celebrate. Hopefully you can encourage her to be on next week so we can, or actually I'm lying because next week I will be gone. That's another thing I should mention. If somebody wants to step up and run a team call next week, please let me know, because I will be flying next week to leadership, so I won't be around Wednesday night to run a call. So if somebody wants to step up and take the lead, I'm happy to help you pick a topic or something like that, so that we can still have a team call while I'm gone. So don't everybody all jump at once.
Dana, you can give me a topic, I could do it.
Thank you, Steph.
No problem. I will do it. Just tell me what I'm doing, though, and don't leave me to like run something that I just can't think the way.
Okay.
Okay.
Perhaps the live power hour or something would be.
We'll talk.
Okay, and I just want to say welcome to Jessica. She's our newest coach on the team, and she's on her first Zoom chat tonight. So wanted to say welcome and thanks for hopping on. So glad to have you here. And we still don't have our guest speaker. So this is interesting. But I can talk to you guys about something while we're waiting, and hopefully she'll decide to show up, because I've never actually had that happen before. And she's not responding to my Facebook message, so I don't know. But yeah, she could always come on next week. Yes, this could happen. Fingers crossed that nothing happened and she's fine. Okay, but so we're gearing up. This is the last quarter of the year, right? So I think this is something that's important to kind of note, because sometimes, it's like when a year starts, you have these huge goals, you have this huge motivation, all these drivers, or maybe you came in kind of halfway through the year or partway through the year, and a lot can happen over the course of a year. You can have amazing successes, you can have things you feel are failures, you can hit goals, you can miss goals, you can fall back, you can have things happen in your life. And I think that at this time of year, sometimes, the holidays are coming and school's back in session and life is just busy, right? And it's easy sometimes to kind of take your foot off the gas. So I think it's important that we all really note and remember that quarter one and the beginning of the year is our busiest time of year. It is the time of year where people are making resolutions, where they're wanting to lose weight, they're wanting to get fit, they're wanting to be healthier, they're wanting to be happier, they're wanting to have better habits. They have these big dreams and these big goals and these aspirations, and they need somebody to help them get there, right? And so if you think about it this way, right now, what you're doing to end October and to go into November and into December is very important, obviously, because you want to help people see that they can have a healthy, balanced lifestyle through the holidays, instead of kind of throwing things to the side and forgetting about themselves and taking care about themselves, and then ending up somewhere behind and having more work to do come a new year, right? But just like always, we're going to have a lot of people say, no, not now. Things are tight during the holidays. We're traveling, we're doing this, we're doing that. But I want to remind you guys that the more relationships that you build right now, and the more trust you build, and the more committed you stay to your journey, and sharing that, it shows people that it's possible during this season, because pretty much everybody expects to see people fall off, and to indulge and to fall off track and kind of go backwards this time of year. That's just normal human nature, right? But we can be the ones to lead by example, that they can have both. They can enjoy themselves. They can love the holiday season, but they can also have the balance of making themselves and their health a priority. So I think that it's, number one, like I said, important to lead by example through this time of the year and through the holidays, and still keep crushing it, keep killing it, keep your energy up, keep sharing your journey. But also to remember that all of the people that you are building relationships right now with and talking to and sharing with and that are watching you, you want them to be people that look to you for help when the new year comes around and they're like, okay, I'm ready for a change. Because that is when gym flyers are going out and personal trainers are they're doing. And we have the total solution, and not just the solution, but we have the heart and the support and the network and the community to really help people truly see this lifestyle change not be something where they start hard in January for 3 weeks and then crash and burn a month later, but something that can really be a long-term change for them, right? So the more on track and leading by example we are right now over the next couple months, and the more people that you talk to and, you know, kind of put yourself in front of and connect with and build those relationships with now through then, the better off you are come the beginning of a new year. And it's awesome to start a new year fresh and strong and motivated and feeling good with where you are at on your journey, but also in a place of where you feel like you are really ready to help as many people as possible. They're ready to make that change and they're looking for you, right? Does that make sense? She's still not on. This is so interesting. I've never not had a guest speaker show up before. Does anybody have anything they want to add to that? What I'm just saying, or anybody that's been around during a holiday season and done it one way or the other have advice?
I'll say something. I feel like, I mean, everything Dana's saying is true. Like the people who I spoke to around this time of year signed up. I had a lot of people signing up at the end of December last year. So you need to just be showing up, because when everyone is thinking right first, when they actually really want to make changes, that you're there. They like remember that you'll help them. I mean, maybe I would say like also a really good idea is start talking about a 3-day refresh before Christmas, that you're going to do like a 3-day group in January. Even people that, you know, are like, just want to do that, right? Because I'm learning now with this clean week, like people are just jumping in just to do the clean week. Maybe someone would want to do the 3-day, and then they realize how good they could feel in 3 days, right? So, you know, meeting people where they're at, but that's a great program. And I'm I really want to do the Ultimate Reset in January also. So if anyone wants to jump in with me, but I'm trying to like work it out, because like I want to make sure there's no trips during the Ultimate Reset. But yeah, Whitney, you're down again. I'm like, I love that thing. I would want to do it every day if it was that easy, but it's not. But so that's my 2 cents. I don't want to ramble.
Thank you. I think what you said about the 3-day refresh is so important, like to not only place those after Christmas, but after Thanksgiving as well. We always try to do something, because let's be real, people stuff themselves with everything. Sometimes we do too. And it's always nice to have that lined up ahead of time to see who wants to join you after a holiday season. With that said, another thing that just kind of popped into my head, since we're kind of just killing time, it's a really good idea to sit down with your calendar right now and kind of plan out the rest of your year. So if you guys don't already plan out your months, I mean, this is a whole separate call in its entirety, but just like a quick recap of, I still write mine on a desktop calendar. I have a big, huge paper calendar that I write everything on. If you prefer Google Docs or you prefer it in your phone, do whatever works for you. But having a, you know, kind of a systemized organization of knowing what you're offering, knowing what you're sharing about, knowing what you're inviting to is really important. So, you know, really simple, like the way that I always plan my months. And if you've been around for a while, you probably know this, but New Coach Boot Camp starts every single Monday of the month. So, you know, you can obviously add to our team, New Coach Boot Camp. That'll start on November 6th, I think. Let me see. Yeah, the 6th, the Monday the 6th, November. And then the second week of the month starts a prep week for your challenge group. So you know, are sharing about the beginning, the prep week, about sharing about meal planning, meal prepping, helping people, you know, set their goals, get rid of their excuses, take their before and after pictures, and really get ready for success and diving into their journey. And then the third Monday of the month is your challenge group start date. And, you know, Jessica, if you're new, you're going to be inviting to mine, so don't worry. But sharing, you know, about your challenge group, when it starts, you know, and once the prep week rolls around, that's when you're following up with people and letting them know that you're starting next Monday, and, you know, seeing if they'd love to dive in and join you for that. And then the last week of the month, running a free group, whether that is a clean week, since that's all laid out for you, that's an amazing opportunity now to do. Or if you know, want to take one, Stephanie and I will share our fall one if you want to take and use that. My health eating and a budget group, the outline for that is in the files of the team page. I know Kelly's run a bunch. I know Sari's run a bunch. So if they're willing to share, but running a free group the last week of the month is super helpful for you to just be seen as somebody who is adding value, that cares to help others, and just to build and connect with new people and make new friends.
Dana, I just want to jump in on that.
Yeah.
With the groups. So Kelly and I were doing a crockpot group, and like, this is obviously the time that you want to do that. And there were a few mom groups that I'm in, and I posted in there about it, and they always, all the groups say like, don't solicit or whatever. So as long as I put in there, you know, absolutely no obligation, you don't have to buy anything. If I tell you, I woke up one night, I must have had like almost 300 people saying they wanted to join, that I had added almost 300 people to my friends just so I could add them. Because I know, Dana, you do a lot where you put the link in your comments, but then it's hard to keep track, especially if you're running the group with somebody else. And then this way they have to accept your friend request to get in the group. So it also adds to your network, just a little thing with that. So, I mean, now I have like 300 people that I really need to follow up on. So it's a little hard, but it adds to the network, and at least like these people are conversing and stuff on posts now, so it's opening things up. But just a little thing throw in there about the no obligation, and definitely if you're with other people, have them add you as a friend first,
Right,
before just joining your group. Just a little thing.
And it definitely depends what kind of group you're in. I think it's important to make sure that you say that, because a lot of them do have rules like that. For sure. Okay, so, and then the last thing in the month is the last Sunday of every month is when we've been running our coach sneak peeks. So, but like, seriously sitting down with a calendar like that and planning out, like, what are you going to name your challenge group? What kind of free group are you going to run? So that, you know, the week prior, you can kind of set those things up. You can get the group ready. You can add people to it. You can schedule your content, or, you know, create your challenge tracker app and send out the emails. But having a system like that, it keeps you from having the guesswork of like, what should I be posting? What should I be talking about? What should I be following up about? It just makes it so much easier for you in so many different ways to know what's coming. But if you kind of plan that out through the rest of the year, you know, you can think about, do you want to do a double time challenge group? Is that your jam? Do you want to do one of those? When are you going to start it? When are you going to share about it? Do you want to do another clean week? When are you going to plan that? How are you going to share about it? But having a game plan like that, so you know what you're doing, takes a lot of the guesswork and the stress out of it, so that you can actually spend more of your time connecting and working with people, and working with your challengers, and working with your team if you have it. So I just wanted to throw that in there, that's helpful. Oh, and 3-day refreshes, if you want to throw those in, like starting on a week before your challenge group or something like that. Does anybody have any questions about that? You did it in 3 different groups. Yeah. And that's an important thing to note about free groups, is following up with people afterwards. I always follow up afterwards and just ask if people have any feedback for me of how to better the group, or was there anything that they would have liked to see in there that I didn't share about? What did they find most helpful? And I always just let them know that if they need more help with health, fitness, nutrition, mindset, anything like that, that I would love to chat with them about their goals. So does anybody have any questions?
Dana, this is a total, like, this is more kind of, I don't know, I guess not something regarding truly helping others, but kind of helping yourself, is that if you're also setting yourself up knowing that January is that big time that people always tend to come to you, that looking for you as a potential, making it to things like the Success Club trips and things like that. Typically January is the one where they double the points for you. You know, at least I know for me, that was a huge one. I was able to get so many people in that month that it covered like 3 months worth of like my payment to go on these trips. So like you're not only obviously helping yourself helping other people, and that's the whole goal, but that's a huge time to really lock in like huge numbers to really help you when it comes to, you know, getting to these events that are huge to go to, if you know, to share with people and to show what's a possibility for coaching.
Absolutely. Well, and that takes some foresight of knowing what you're pushing for, what your goals are, and what it entails to do that. So that's a great side note, Kelly. There she is. We were hoping you were alive.
Am I late?
We start at 8:30. But you probably are used to calls starting at 9, is my guess.
I swear you said 9. I've had it in my calendar for 9 for weeks.
It's totally fine.
I've really been
We covered some good stuff.
Waiting to jump on with you guys. Oh, I'm so sorry.
It is all good. Well, I'm not going to take any more time. We have our beautiful guest speaker on. I asked Nicole to hop on tonight. I've known Nicole for probably well over 2 years now, I guess. But if you follow her on Facebook, she is absolutely incredible on social media. Just the way she words things, the way she writes things. You just want to know more and learn more. And just, you know, she's one of those people that you just really are energetically attracted to. But she's had a lot of hard things happen in her life and in her business and throughout her story. And she's had the courage to share a lot of those things, and also just such beauty and the resiliency of how she has overcome those things and turned such pain and struggle in her life into such purpose and such fuel and motivation for her to carry on with her journey and just really living her life to the fullest. So I asked her to come hop on here tonight because I think that is a topic that anybody can learn from, no matter what they are going through. So Nicole O'Neill is a 4-star diamond. She left corporate. She is now a full-time coach, and she is a 6-figure earner. And I think that was all that you sent me for for your stats. But if you want to share when you started and kind of how you dove into coaching, I would love for them to know that before you dive into your topic. But thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us tonight.
You got it. And I'm so sorry I'm late. I'm super embarrassed, guys. That is so not like me. I'm like early to everything. So I'm Nicole. I live up in New England. I've been a full-time coach for almost 3 years now. But I started as kind of that like annoying nuisance as a coach who my coach, Elizabeth Harkey, wanted to get started so much sooner than I did. But I just didn't see the light, if you will. And so it's really funny because when Dana reached out and asked me to chat with you guys tonight about sharing authentically and kind of your pain being your purpose, I found it so ironic. One, because I look up to her so much in terms of how she shares her struggles and her story. And I think that she is such an inspiration. And two, because I am someone who, it's kind of strange, like it made me look back in perspective and see kind of how far I've come with all of this. Because truthfully, when I got started, I hated social media. And I'm going to be totally candid and honest with you guys. Like, it was really, really hard for me to start sharing on social media. So I can totally get it. You guys are an amazing team, and I know that you all do wonderful things, but taking it way back when, I know how scary it is to start and to put yourself out there a little bit. And so just have the faith and kind of like drive on other people's bravery and see the way that they're changing people's lives to start to kind of find your own courage, if you will. But I really, tonight I want to talk a little bit about the pain and how to turn that into your purpose and all that great stuff. And I put together some slides, but I want to start by kind of really getting honest. And like the sad truth is that most people, never really allow themselves to become the person they're capable of being because they're stuck within their own head, right? We face our own internal demons. We get stuck challenging our own self-worth, our own sense of significance. And we really end up living it small. And I don't say this to kind of point fingers, or make accusations, but more so to say like, I was one of those people. And so for me, like when I look at this opportunity and what it can do for you, it's amazing how, yes, like it helps you bring about financial freedom in your life and helps you have flexibility at time, but it's really amazing how it helps you kind of learn to become more self-aware, but even more than that, self-accepting and self-loving, right? To embrace who you are and realize you have so much worth within you and that you are a light that can be such an impactful force in other people's lives. And so, for me, I always would rather see other people shine. Never like attention. I don't like the spotlight. And truthfully, for most of my life, I was really, really embarrassed in my story. It was something I grew up kind of ashamed of. I didn't have a great childhood. And so I was raised to be very private. I never wanted to expose myself. And I thought vulnerability was a sign of weakness. I now know it's one of the greatest signs of strength, and that it can help you become such an impactful person for other people. And so I kind of want to share a little bit of my story with you guys so you can see kind of the ebbs and flows. And since I'm late, I won't go too in depth on the story because I do want to get to the slides so that you guys have some actionable takeaways. But, for me, you kind of have to jump into this journey head over heels in terms of it has to start with you. Like this really is your own personal journey. And the only way you're ever going to learn to share authentically and to kind of share your story and see the value in your story is to kind of like live your story, okay? To kind of like live that transformation that you're going to go through. And for me, I'm a 3-time cancer survivor. I have lost, in the time I've gotten started with my business, I've lost my mom. I've lost my grandmother, who was like my everything in life. I went through a rough breakup. I lost my job. Like everything you can imagine going wrong went wrong. And so while I'm laughing about this, so you guys probably think this girl's twisted. But sometimes it's hard to like get your grasp around everything that can happen in life. And it's funny because for me, while it could have been serious setbacks and excuses, I like to look at them as wake-up calls. Every time something happened, it gave me this whole new perspective on life and kind of made me look at life through a different lens and see how precious life is. And so I got started with Beachbody after my first scare with skin cancer. And that was because I just needed to win to feel good about myself. I realized I was someone who always like found my worth externally through my work, being tan, being blonde, through style, all that stuff. And I couldn't be in the sun anymore. And I just needed to feel good about myself. And I fell in love with the fitness programs, and it kind of like introduced me to our mindset and what that can do, how fitness is a pillar for your life. And so from there, I kind of just fell in love with the transformation and kind of jumped head over heels into what that's all about. And then from there, my mom passed away, and that made me question my purpose. We didn't have the best relationship, and most of my life has been to kind of overcome the situation I had with my mom. And so if you are in a point where you're trying to figure out like what your purpose is, that eats at your soul. Like it really does eat at your soul. And so I want you guys to look at this opportunity, because typically if you're questioning what's your purpose, you're in that point in your life where you're probably looking for something more, right? You feel as though everything might be good. And, I was totally there. Like I had the great career. At that point, I was in a great relationship. I had bought a house on my own, like put myself through college. Like I checked off these awesome things, like, and I'd overcome my childhood, but I still felt like so empty inside. And it's because I didn't still know who I was or what I was capable of. I was still playing it safe and totally living surface deep and never allowing myself to really like do that inner work you need to do. And I think when you're struggling with your purpose and something more, it's probably because you are stuck in that surface level of kind of trying to keep everything even keel. And when you can make the shift to realize, yes, you have to grow as a person continuously, but even more so to be of service to other people, that's when like you start to realize it's about more than just you. So if you're at a point where you're questioning your purpose, this platform gives you such an amazing opportunity to like truly discover and live out your purpose by being a light for other people. And so that was when I kind of made the shift into looking at this business as something more than just, my own personal journey. It was a way to serve other people. And after my second scare with skin cancer, I questioned life and like the path I was on, and realized how precious life was. And then my grandmother passed away, and she was like my light, my everything in life. And that's when my world like came crumbling down a little bit. And that's when I realized, I wanted to create something bigger than just myself. I wanted to carry out her legacy, if you will, because she was just such an amazing person. And that's when, I'll get into a little bit in my slides, determining your mission, but that's when I started to realize like I wanted to be part of something bigger than myself. And so I shifted from just looking at this opportunity as, a way to earn money, to kind of being a legacy, right? Of being something that you can create to leave a true impact on the world. And so ironically enough, 2 weeks later, I got laid off from my job. I had literally been like that workaholic that put 150 hours in if I could, days, nights, weekends. I would skip holidays to work. It was not normal or balanced or healthy by any means. And so here I was at this point where I felt like so disposable and so unappreciated. And so I wanted to create something where people felt appreciated, where I could build them up. And so that was when I like jumped head over heels into coaching full time. I think I made $53 in my first week as a coach full time, which is like absolutely absurd. People thought I lost my mind, but I let that fuel me. And so from there, it's been like the most amazing journey, because in order for your business to grow, right, you have to grow and you have to do the self-work. And so I'm going to kind of shift gears for a minute now. And I want to go into some of these slides, and they're not crazy, just to keep my mind focused for you guys, and try to share a little bit of how to share authentically and kind of give you some tips here. Let's see if I can find it here. All right. Can you guys all hear me? All right. Cool. All right. So I wanted to give you guys some tips, and I'll kind of weave some of my story in still, but if you are trying to figure out how to share authentically, and you are trying to figure out what your story is, first off, I want to let you guys know, I got to the point, and what helped me make this shift to start opening up and not live so kind of surface deep, I realized I crave connection. Like I love when I could talk to these people who have this transformation in their life, and I could talk about their bigger dreams in life, and I'd be surrounded by these people who thought differently than what I was so used to. And it helped me to peel back the layers of myself a little bit. And I lost my train of thought where I was going with that for a second. Oh, so when I was able to kind of like shift and find that confidence to share more and kind of put my story out there, it was when I realized all of a sudden, like everything I've been through cannot have been for no reason. Like it all has to amount to something, and I'm going to determine what that's going to be. And so the really big shift that I want to encourage you guys all to realize, and this is something I believe wholeheartedly in my whole being, I never say that your pain is your purpose, but your pain can 100% have purpose. That is what makes you someone that is relatable. It makes you more empathetic. It makes you more compassionate. It helps you be a light for people going through something similar, and you help them find that something more in themselves to kind of get through whatever is trying to hold them back. Because the truth of the matter is someone who's faced cancer 3 times and who's had to answer that question, am I going to die? Am I going to get through this? More importantly, did I really live? You have to realize that like you have to be proactive, and that you have to keep fighting. You have to keep taking that each step forward, because you only get one shot, and there's no reason to waste it. And I never wish that upon anyone, but you have to live with kind of that end in mind, and just try to use that as your fuel to overcome your fear. So with that being said, I use that as kind of my own little shift. It's that, sharing my pain, it takes away my pain in a way, because it helped me to embrace it and help me realize that it has a purpose, and I could start using that to lift up other people. And when you can make it out about other people, it helps a lot. So the 3 areas I like to say really help you to clarify your message are self-awareness, to be a light, and then to determine your mission. And so I'm going to go through these a little bit for you guys. So I touched on this a little bit. Like this really has to all start with you guys first deciding to become more self-aware and connected to yourself. In order to share your story, you got to know your story, right? You got to know who you are. You need to, I joke that these last couple of years I've been living out my own eat, pray, love, and it is 100% true. Like I've become a totally different person because I've done the work that's necessary to figure out who I was and what made me happy and how to accept myself and be alone with myself. But you got to do that work. And that comes down to asking those questions that you typically don't like to ask, right? How often, like it's so much easier to be busy in life and kind of get caught up in everybody else's drama and always ask questions of other people, but you never want to ask yourself those questions because the answers are sometimes kind of scary, right? But you got to do that because that's how you're going to figure out who you are and what your self-worth is. And that's how you're going to learn to kind of share it authentically. And so I encourage you to kind of treat social media almost as your journal. Like that's the way I tell my coaches to look at it. Think of it as your journal, like you are having a thought and what you would write out or what you would say to your best friend, that's exactly what you want to do there. And you want to share it in a way that you're talking directly to someone so that you are connecting to someone. But a couple of things when you're thinking about your story, because I'm sure you guys all have struggles, is to start like really small. Just think about some of the struggles that you've overcome in your life. And it's not about a woe pity me. It's about like really looking at kind of a situation that royally sucks that you had to go through. But what was the lesson that came out of it? How did it help you evolve? What was the new perspective it gave you? And sharing these things that helps you teach people like how to get through whatever it is they're going through, to kind of see that light at the end of the tunnel, to find their own perspective and to see a perspective, new light through you. Second, insecurities. Like we all have insecurities, like so many insecurities. But what are those insecurities that maybe you faced for your entire life? We all have so many that sparked in high school. I know I did. That still haunt me to this day. But how many of us have those? Like think about those and then think about how like what you're doing now in this journey is helping you to overcome that. Like for me, I hated to speak up in class. I hated to have my voice be heard. I've always had this like soft, squeaky voice. And so for me, like this opportunity has helped me find my voice. And so we all have a different way that this opportunity has helped us to kind of overcome those insecurities. So share a little bit of that. And then another one is like, where are you headed, right? So this is where you have to ask yourself, like, am I happy with where I am in my life? If not, where do I want to be? Like the biggest question you can ask yourself and also ask your new coaches getting started is where do you want to be 3 to 5 years from now? Because that's what you are actively taking steps towards. And it also puts into perspective the timeline, that this isn't something that happens overnight. You have to be committed to doing the work for a while, but think about that. Get excited about 3 years from now and like really pour into that and share that, because that's what people want to see, is that there are so many people out there that are unhappy where they are, playing it safe. Show them that you are nuts enough to think that you can do it another way, but you're actually doing it, right? You're taking steps. You don't care how long it's going to take you, you're going to get there. And then I think the bigger questions to ask are, how are you holding yourself back? Because we are. Like, what are the limiting beliefs we have? What are the things that we tell ourselves? What stories do you tell yourself? Like, get quiet with your minds. And if I think it's all females on here, I think the best time to do this is when you're PMSing, to be honest, because I go to a very dark place when I'm PMSing. And like, think about it. Like, what is the self-talk you say? Like, you say mean things to yourself, right? Those things that you say that you don't even realize that are going on, they are always in the background, and you need to become crystal clear on what they are and replace those and shift them to something much more empowering. And as soon as you do that, you're going to start to see your worth and start to like tap into that self-awareness and self-growth journey, which I think is the most impactful thing we teach. So that's number one, is the self-awareness. And I do have a fun activity that I always have my coaches do, to the point that we can be our own worst critics, and sometimes it's hard for us to kind of see our own value. I think this is so impactful, is to try to see yourself through the eyes of someone else, okay? So what I want to challenge you guys to do is reach out to 10 to 20 people in your life. It can be coaches, family, friends, a mix, and just ask them 2 questions. The first one is I want you to ask them 6 words they think of when they think of you. Any 6 words. And then what would they come to you for help with or recommendations on? Don't give them too much guidance. Tell them you don't have to put too much time in. I just want like a quick answer, what comes to you immediately, okay? And so the first thing you're going to get is you're going to get the 36, well, more than that. You're going to get a bunch of words, those 6 words. These are what I say are going to end up being kind of, you'll be surprised, the people that you're going to get here are loyal, strong, determined, passionate. These are kind of your core values, okay? So this is kind of what you stand for. And this is going to kind of become like the pillars of your brand in a way, like the pillars of who you are, what your coaching is all about. And so then I want you to like, first off, like fluff your feathers a little bit, like see yourself through their eyes and realize like you are so amazing. And then I want you to like dive into those 6 words and try to find parts of your story that connect to them. So I pretty much always get strong. And so for me, like I build that out since like, when was I strong? Like, well, I was strong when I got the news of cancer. Like, how did I feel when I got that news?
How did I overcome it? Like, where am I now because of it? What is my new perspective? So like at the point, it sucked. Like I was like afraid for my life. I had to question my entire lifestyle. And I just wanted to curl up in a ball and cry and not move. But then it kind of introduced me to this whole new way of life, because I was always, you know, a beach bum and like didn't really do any activities, but it introduced me to fitness first off, which led me to kind of get in the best shape of my life at 30, do a triathlon. And I was a girly girl my whole life. It got me into traveling, into hiking, into nature. It literally changed my entire lifestyle. So there's a huge blessing there. So start there. Like, so strong for me can have so many areas. So choose your 6 words that you want to be known for. The second thing is, what would they come to you for help or recommendations with? These are the things, these are your strengths, guys. Like, these are your areas of excellence. And so these are kind of the things that you, as you build your coaching career and you evolve, that you really want to capitalize on, okay? So if people come to you a lot for, you know, it might be so simple as, you know, baby products, okay? That's a way for you to connect with people that are very similar to you. So share even that stuff too. Like, this doesn't have to all be, you know, just kind of the heart-wrenching part of your story. This is sharing the pieces that you kind of excel in at your life that people come to you for. So it's a really great self-exploration activity to kind of see your strengths from other people's eyes. And I think you'll learn a lot from it. The second thing is to be a light, right? This is where I said, your pain can have some purpose. It makes you a light for other people. What we go through kind of enables us to be a coach for other people. Like, that's the beauty of it. So, but first, like, in order to clarify your message, like, you got to talk to someone. You can't talk to everyone. So you really got to narrow down who you are trying to help. And I'm sure you guys have all done the avatar worksheet. If you haven't, like, please do. I know it is such a nuisance and it takes so much time. I have one that's 9 pages long. And I remember I put it off for like a year and a half, but when I did it, everything changed. Carve out the time for that, because that's when you're going to be able to, like, when you're doing a post, remember I said pretend you're talking to a best friend, talk to the person on that sheet. And what's really ironic is you're going to find out that the person on that sheet is you before you got started with this opportunity, the person you were before you said yes. But if nothing else, make sure that you clarify the top 3 needs your ideal customer or coach has, the top 7 questions they're looking for answers to in life, and a common enemy that you can attack. And so, like, for me, I always wanted to have my own business while I was traveling the world. And like, a common enemy for me is like people who are telling me like, no, you can't travel and like earn a 6-figure income, right? So I want to talk to that. I want to let people know that that is possible. It might be that you can't have abs after you have a baby, Dana, you freak. I'm just kidding. But, you know, like, find those common enemies, those common like limiting beliefs that we have, if you will, and talk to those. And then just to kind of give you guys an outline of kind of how to bring that into your content, you know, you do want to touch on those things a lot. And when you share, you know, the needs of the customer, you want to share it as a story and a lesson and a problem you solved. And so that's just a little bit of guidance. I haven't really checked the chat at all, guys, because I'm in share mode, but I will check it after, I promise. And so this, I think, is the most impactful thing, your mission. And I could go on and on and on about your mission. If you want to be able to share, like, truly authentically, if you want to be able to invite confidently, if you want to be able to talk about your business in a way that you are so damn proud, you have to figure out what your mission is. We talk a lot about your vision, about where you're heading, and I think that is so huge, but even more than that, your mission is what makes you, okay? This is when it's bigger than just yourself. And this is where, like, you really want to live with the end in mind. So this is where I challenge you guys, what do you want to be known for? Like, this is a big thing. Like, you get to determine that with this opportunity. You get to create your own legacy. You control what you put out there. You control the lives you change. You control the way you pour into people in your groups, right? So what do you want to be known for? What do you want your legacy to be? What do you want to create? Like, here I want you to really think about, and I say a little bit at the end in mind, and that might sound kind of dark, but it's a powerful practice to do, is at the end of the day, like, let's say, you know, people are getting up to speak about your life. What do you want them to say about you? What do you want them to remember you by? What do you want to say you created, right? That's what you stand for. And that's what you're turning into your mission now. That's your mission in life. That's your mission in business. That's what you are trying to get people to join you to create, because that's where it's so much bigger than you. You can't do it alone. And you are so damn excited to invite people to join you on that mission, because you want to see it come to life. And the coolest thing about a mission is it's not about you. right? It's usually being of service to other people. It's usually bringing about some sort of change that's going to live on past you. And so that's where it becomes something kind of so heartfelt that you can't help but want to share and invite people to join you. And this is something that might take you a little bit of time, but it's so impactful. And this is a big, big shift for you and your business when you can make this, figure out what this is. And then the last slide here, just in terms of like your secret for Romeo for Sharon. So I got this from, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's Story Brand. And they just did an awesome podcast recently on EntreLeadership, which kind of like summarizes this. And if you haven't checked, like, I can't recommend listening to this enough, because in terms of like Sharon in a way that you connect with people immediately, like he gives you the formula, but basically you have to make it all about other people. When you're sharing, yes, we're sharing our own stories, but we're trying to share in a way that other people see themselves in our story, right? We're trying to share in a way that they can kind of relate to what we're talking about. So you do this in a way that you want to paint the picture first. You want to shed some light on a truth, like shed that common enemy. So when I started this call, I said, the sad truth is most people end up kind of holding themselves back from what they're really capable in life. I'm calling out to people right away with that statement. You want to start with that. You want to call out to people, tell them something that they feel, tell them something they're struggling with immediately, and then tell them how you can relate because of something that you've been through. Share a glimpse of your story. And then you want to kind of tell them kind of how you didn't let that hold you back, how you persevered through, like you have this new perspective, you took positive action, whatever it might be. And then when you share the outcome, you want to share it in a way that they see that they can win too, okay? So this is like so impactful, I think, in Sharon. And it was, I can send it to Dana, the EntreLeadership podcast that it was. It's really, really great. It's Story Brands, though, is the company. So those are the slides I have for you guys. And then I just want to end with one little thing, which my computer is not doing this. So this is something I want you guys to think about, and I'm going to read it because I have this like with my team. And so the thing I want you guys to remember, everyone has a story. Like you guys all have a story. We all have a story. And those stories, they truly have the power to positively inspire or change the lives of others. And sharing these stories, that's what we are truly connected, and we feel empowered to reach for something more. Your role as a coach is to find the light in your own story, to find your own strength, to use it as a platform to help others find something more in themselves, to embrace their own true self, shine bright, and tap into their own potential. And so this is about so much more than fitness and nutrition. This is about helping people find that something more in themselves. And you guys, you believe in them until they learn to believe in themselves. So that is all I have for you guys. And I hope I didn't.
Really fast. I don't know what to say. That was amazing. Does anybody have questions for Nicole, or do they have something that was most impactful that they would like to share? Are you all just blown away and quiet?
That's okay. I was late. That can be my punishment.
I just think it's friggin' huge the way that you so eloquently share how much bigger this is, because I think that sometimes when you are stressed out about simple things, that big vision and that big picture and that big mission mindset, kind of tends to get lost, and you get stuck in your struggle, or you get stuck in the small stuff. And it's such a blessing to have that reminder that this is about so much more.
That's so much more. And also I want to encourage you guys, one thing I can never say enough about, we get so caught up in like those goals we're reaching for, right? It is so important to celebrate like the little things along the way. And when I say celebrate, it doesn't mean, yes, you can treat yourself to like a spa day or like a new outfit, whatever it might be. But even more so, I'm saying like carve out a couple of minutes to like take a step back and reflect on how far you've come, because you've already made such huge strides. And even though you may not have reached that goal yet or hit that goal yet, like the play and the pay have to go together. Like you have to enjoy it along the way, and you have to celebrate each little step, because the truth of the matter is like when you hit that big goal you're reaching for, what typically happens is you come crashing down after, and you're like, well, now what, right? Because you had all this energy and momentum building towards it. So it's so much more impactful to celebrate like the little things, like find that perspective along the way. You know, treat yourself to, like, once you get your power hour done, like, go for your walk with your dog or whatever you do. I do that. But give yourself these little rewards along the way. And then when you get closer to that goal, make sure you always have something else behind it, because if you hit that goal and then you kind of like, it's human nature to like pull off the gas a little bit, you come crashing down because it's like a high to a low. So that kind of helps when you get stuck in the nuances of, you know, we all have those struggles along the way. Is make sure you have fun along the way too.
Love that. Nicole, I have a question for you that I think would be helpful. But when you have been in these times of struggle, like when you lost your grandma and you just feel like your life is kind of crumbling and falling apart, obviously people work through things differently or become resilient differently, or if you've kind of gotten out of your groove or, you know, feel like you've lost your momentum, what would you say is something that helps you find that groove again, or get reconnected to your vision, or get, you know, your motivation back?
So first off, you have to have some compassion for yourself when stuff like that goes wrong, right? So you have to carve out a little bit of like time. So it's not about pretending nothing ever happens. Like if you're facing a struggle, you have something going on, if you try to run from it, it's going to creep up back on you and haunt you. So have some compassion. Like give yourself like a day, a couple days, like pull back a little bit, refocus on you is the biggest thing you can do. Like make your own journey a priority, okay? It's also like, this is where it's really, for me, having a team has been huge, because I know it's not just about me. And so like I put it out there to them and they know what I'm going through, but like I don't want to disappoint them. I don't want to let them down. And so that's a huge drive too. And that connects it to like, it's about more than you. And then also this is where kind of, you know, I say the blessing and the curse of kind of facing cancer so much time is you are precious. You are like viscerally aware of how precious time is, but you gotta kind of remind yourself of that sometimes. Like put things in perspective in the grand scheme of things. Like time is so precious. We literally only have one life. Like you don't get it back. You don't get a second chance, and you never know what's going to happen. And so like, yes, like we all have like these things that happen in life. It's inevitable. It's life. But typically some of like your darkest of times, those are what mold you, and those are what help you grow, and getting through that, that's what helps lead to some of your brightest times. And I truly believe that each time you're able to dig deep and like do that self-work and find that reason why, because there's always a reason why to get through it, right? If you have families, if you know, if you just want to live, like whatever it is, there's always a reason why to get through it. And don't you want to live on your own terms? Like, don't you want to be able to determine and be so intentional with your life? But each time you kind of get through this, you learn to live at a higher level. And I think that's kind of what can push you through. Did I answer your question? Okay.
Yes, I love it. Does anybody else have questions? No.
I guess I have a question for you. Yeah. Hey, so as you're going through all these changes in your life and losing your grandmother and people close to you and working through your own struggles, what's your process as far as kind of working through that on your own before posting about it on social media?
I cannot say enough about having a journal. Honestly, having a journal has changed my whole life. And it's something I used to totally turn my nose up at. So like I said, I was very private for most of my life. I don't like to talk to people. Like I won't even go to my friends when things are bothering me. Like my family, they don't know half of the stuff I've been through. Like I keep it all in my head. And so for me, having a journal, it's like this unbiased place. Like honestly, it's like a mind dump. And so like if you're struggling with something, even like it might be something as simple as like you got in a fight with your boyfriend, or you know your kids are driving you nuts, or you're at a roadblock with your business, like whatever it is, if you just start writing, it's like a brain dump. First off, you release it, which is huge, but also like it gets you like to calm down a little bit, and it helps you kind of see your own perspective change because you can read back through it. And so that is huge, is kind of just like having a journal and putting it all out there.
Brain dumps.
Awesome.
Best thing ever.
I actually joke that my journals should probably be kept in like a locked box with a fingerprint eye scan because it is such like a private place.
Love it. Does anybody else have questions? I just have to say I'm floored of how much you covered so epically in 30 minutes of time.
Oh, thank you. I hope it wasn't too fast. I was trying to like not to
No,
get.
it was perfect, and I screenshotted your slides.
I can send them to you too.
That would be perfect.
Yeah, you got it. All right. Well, thanks,
I
Lee.
love the exercise of seeing yourself through other people's eyes. I think that's huge. I think that's an awesome thing to do.
It's cool, and you'll find like people obviously elaborate because everybody loves to build up other people. So it's also a cool resource to go back to when you're having that self-doubt sometimes too. Yeah.
It's just like saving messages from people that you've helped to go back and look at when you feel like you have a day where you suck. You just need to remind yourself that you're doing okay.
Definitely.
No last questions. Last call.
Well, I'm an open book, so you ladies, if you ever have a question, feel free to send me a message. I'm more than happy to chat.
All right. Well, I'm going to unmute everybody because I would like for us all to say thank you to Nicole tonight. So if you would, I won't.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicole. We'll see you guys not next week, but the week to follow. So thank you, Nicole, for taking time out of your night.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.